So let's talk about this new situation that's going on with the Bulls. Now, the situation that's going on with the Bulls is that now they have confirmed that they want to trade Zach Lavine. You know, this was not surprising, as Zach Lavine is not the best player in the NBA, and he's honestly been pretty bad for his team in recent years. Zach Lavine, as we all know, he's an offensive player which just focuses most of his talents on scoring around the rim and from three. He's been an extremely good player for the teams that he's been on. If you don't consider winning, and honestly, when we look at him more than anything, we can see a guy who's been, trained to be an offensive demon more than anything. So, in my opinion, we do have to give him those props. But Jesus Christ, Zach Lavine is not him. And that's the problem. Zach Lavine is a player which has always been treated as kind of a, joke to superstars, because for a while he was great. He was scoring a lot. He was doing a lot of great things. He was averaging like 26 points per game, in like a 5-year span from 2019 to 2023. And he had been amazing. But this season, he's been trash. When his team needs him the most, when his team has been suffering the most, he's just taken a step back. And 2 games of this season, he didn't even start. Now, was that for injuries? Was that because of him? I have no idea. I'm not really going to test the waters because honestly, I have no clue of what might be happening behind the scenes. But what I do know is that if the Bulls are going to trade him, then it's, in my opinion, now or never. The reason why Zach Lavine and the reason why we talk about Zach Lavine and the reason why I'm talking about him, especially in this manner, it's because Zach Lavine is a player which to me infuriates me. I like his play style a lot. I think it's good. The only thing that I don't like is that it seems like he hasn't improved a thing in many years. From the start of his career, he was always a guy who could space from three and, make a good amount of reliable shots around the rim. He even had a 50, 40, 85 season, a 51, 42, 85 season. He had a great shooting season in 2021 and in 2022 and in 2023. But the problem is that each season he adds nothing to his game. And I mean nothing, right? Like he gets more experience, he gets maybe more skilled in the way that he plays. But I don't think I've ever seen a significant change in Zach Lavine where I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. The only time where I did see that was when he learned to create off the dribble. And it added complexity to his game, and it took his points per game from 17 in 2018 to 24 in 2019. So obviously, being able to stretch the floor, being able to make consistent shots was great for Zach Lavine. Having his own team was even better for him. Now, the problem came when we started making him way too comfortable with just being mid. And that, I think, came from the Bulls fans. For years they had Zach Lavine and they would just be happy that he was there, be happy that he was still around, and be happy that he was a player who was willing to be in Chicago. But when they actually rebuilt the team and went back to, rely on Zach Lavine as their first or second option, he was a complete ghost. And I mean that to the 100%. Because he went silent. He could score, he could do good, but even the one season where his team made the playoffs, he was trash, right? The one season where this guy makes the playoffs, he was trash. Now, the reason why I'm saying all these things is because this is the new debacle for the Bulls. They've been put in a position where they don't know what to do. They could easily go and trade him, because there would be a number of teams which would want Zach Lavine because he's a good asset, right? Even a team which doesn't know what they're doing and thinks that they're way better than they are will probably take Zach Lavine and feel very happy about the fact that they got him. But in my opinion, I think that he's right now wasted potential. So why do I say this now? Why, when he's having his worst season, is when I say these types of things? And why is this a pertaining topic right now? Well, the reason why is because we don't know what the Bulls are going to do from here. The Bulls have been one of the most consistent teams in the NBA at trying to put a good team together for their stars, for their players, but they've never really been the team to look at if you want anything of substance. Michael Jordan was amazing and he had 6 championships, but if we're being honest, Michael Jordan was the only good bright light to ever happen to the Bulls, except maybe for Derrick Rose and Artis Gilmore, right? So in your entire history, you've had around maybe 5 to 6 players which you can say, wow, we really like that guy, or we really want to put a franchise behind him. Those players, obviously, Artis Gilmore, Michael Jordan, Derrick Rose, which are, the 3 basically only superstars that the Bulls have ever really had. If you guys don't know who Artis Gilmore is, he's an old center who used to be in the NBA and who switched over from the ABA. And when the Bulls got him, he was one of the best ABA players at the time. So it was, considered that he was gonna be very good. And in the end, he was. He didn't end up winning anything, but he was a pretty good center. With that being said, from then on and from all these guys, the only one who's ever been able to win anything was Jordan, and the only one who was ever really to produce for this team anything of like really shock value and like excitement was Derrick Rose. So what are we doing here? Because personally, I believe that we should take the Bulls and stop thinking about them for a bit. They're a team which has to figure out what they want to do. Lonzo is hurt, and they have to wait for him, to come back to at least be able to assess what they want to do. Because I know where they are. The Bulls right now stand in a weird place of purgatory. They want to have a good team, but they don't want to be the team stuck with like a middle of the pack bad team which can't win and is going to keep losing. But they also don't want to be the team that lost out on maybe a championship contender due to their own arrogance and lack of patience. The reason why I say that is because Lonzo Ball has not come back, and DeMar DeRozan is still really good. So with these facts being said, they could actually make a run that would put them in a good position to, get back to where they were if they just stay consistently doing what they're doing. Now, I'm also going to throw some shit at DeMar too. He's been playing pretty badly. But to be honest, he's 34 years old and he's aging by the day. Meanwhile, having to carry this team to a good offense and good defense every night, even though DeMar is a terrible defender. So finally, what I really want to say is that the Bulls are trash. And even if they try to make themselves better or they try to keep some consistency up, I do believe that in the end we just should come back and say, like, should they rebuild? Because if the Bulls rebuild, really, they wouldn't lose anything. I would actually think that they would gain. But the problem would be, who are they trading with? Every team below them is trying to build up, and every team above them is trying to stay up. So I think the Bulls have gotten into this weird style of kind of purgatory, where unless they trade for like Pascal Siakam, pair him with like Demar and Lavine, they're going to be stuck in a weird situation for a long time. So honestly, that's what I thought. I just wanted to speak on the Bulls because honestly, they're one of the teams which I've seen just be completely derailed from their original goals. And I wanted to talk about the Zach Lavine trade rumors because now it is said that both Zach Lavine and the Bulls want to part ways, so I just want to know where he lands next. I think he'll probably land either on the Lakers or on a team like, Detroit, maybe on a team maybe like the Warriors, but I don't know. Let's wait and see, and I'll see you guys next video.